Hey, what's going on, gamers? This is Doctorredstone signing in to another episode on the channel, man. In today's episode, we're looking for untouchables on the leaderboards, and they are absolutely nowhere to be found. I want to give a huge shout out to Cafe. I believe this was her retirement run over on the iOS global servers. Also, huge shout out to Jack, as well as the homie Infinity for supplying the screenshots for today's episode. Now, this is the recent one for untouchables, as last week Android players, we've been out of the game for probably about 7 days or so, so that was kind of a little bit upsetting, not gonna lie. Not gonna talk about the compensation in today's episode because we're going over the leaderboard. So without further ado, let's jump into it. Alrighty, gamers, and jumping on over into this one, like I said, huge shout out to Jack and Infinity as well. We are over on the iOS global servers where there is no untouchable guild to be seen. Now there is Touch Alliance, and I think they were putting this one on for Cafe. So like I said in the intro, big shout out to you. We got Reservoir Dogs with 117 billion, man. Right freaking behind him we have the Northern Beast. That's super freaking close. Coming in third, way back when, we got Conceal of Wolves coming in at number 3, the MB Zoo coming in at number 4, and Testing TT coming in at that number 5 spot, man. We got 68, 61, and 50. Big shout out to all those guys right there. Rytilian Alliance coming in at that number 6 spot. We got Odin's Rage coming in at number 7, Rom coming in at number 8. We got Zero Down coming in at number 9, and Serial Killers rounding out the top 10. Big shout out to each and every single one of those guys, as well as Jack for grabbing that number 7 slot. One thing I definitely got to say is I don't know how many of these alliances are part, or how many of these guilds are part of the Touch Alliance. Definitely, if you guys know, let me know down in the comment section. We got Merlin the Magician coming in at that number 1 spot over on the iOS global servers. Not number 1 overall, but we'll go over that one in a later server. We got Wilson be vibing coming in at that number 2 spot. Big shout out to the homie. We got Loki coming in at that number 3 spot, for Respect, and Sandy coming in at that number 5, and 911 AU Junior. Continuing on the iOS train, let's go ahead and jump on over to the European server. We got Barbarians at that number 1 spot, man. Talk about a streak continuing. I know Barbarians definitely have continued to stay up there near the number 1, or at the number 1 spot at least. We got Knights of Empire coming in at that number 2 spot. Big shout out to Infinity and absolutely everybody running over there. We got Memory and Thought coming in at number 3. Big shout out to those guys. We got Warlords at number 4. FBD coming in at that number 5 spot right there. Coming in at number 6 over on the iOS European server, we got France Push and Dutch Helden 1 at number 7. Parking Lot over at number 8. We got Sunburst at number 9. A big shout out to the homies at MCU rounding out the top 10. 9 and 10, man, that was freaking close. I wonder what 11 looked like. Going over the top 5 Raiders, we got Bishop coming in at that number 1 spot with 2.7 billion freaking points. That's insane. I mean, how do you even get that high? What does your lineup look like for that one? We got Jax coming in at that number 2 spot. We got number 3, the King of Kings. Now I think this is the same group that's over on the European server, so big shout out to Sin and all of those guys, I'm pretty sure. We got Martin coming in at that number 4 spot. We got Fishy on Hacks coming in at that number 5 spot. That's rounding out everybody on the iOS servers. Now let's go ahead and jump on over and check out the homie Ghoul for taking that number 1 spot overall on all 4 servers over on Android European. Alrighty, gamers, and you guys can see there, so we ended top 6 over on the Android European server. I want to give a huge shout out to absolutely everybody in Asylum for this weekend's run. Definitely was phenomenal, definitely was a lot of fun, always fun hanging out with those guys. So let's go and take a look at these leaderboards. Big shout out to the homie Ghoul. Ghoul Loves Pizza, 3.1 freaking billion. That's insane right there. Number 1 overall all the way around. So taking a look at this one, we got King of Kings. Big shout out to Sin, 69 billion points right there. Big shout out to all those guys over there. We got Spirit of Vandals coming in at number 2. Swedish Slayers coming in at number 3. Look at that, 1 and 2 was freaking close. We got the Nameless Order coming in at number 4. BOP Family, big shout out to those guys. Definitely just could not catch up to them, because as we scroll down, we got Asylum coming in at number 6 right there. You guys can see the points difference, man. They just continued to run away from us. Guerreras Españolas coming in at that number 7 spot behind us with 25 billion. We got War Bastards coming in at number 8. White Wolves rounding out number 9, and German Knights coming in at number 10. Man, big shout out to White Wolves, man. They are absolutely always on these freaking leaderboards. Of course, you guys have already seen that one. We got Ghoul Loves Pizza, so does the Doc as well, coming at that number 1 spot with 3.1 billion points. Huge shout out to the homie Juice coming at that number 2 spot. We got Sin Raul coming at that number 3 spot. Big shout out to the homegirl there. We got Baby Sloth, man. Haven't seen you on these leaderboards in a little bit. Big shout out to you. And we got the homie Clutch as well, coming in at that number 5 spot. Big shout out to each and every single one of those guys right there for absolutely killing it on the Android European server. So without further ado, let's check on Loke City and see what we got going on the Android Global. Alrighty gamers, and jumping on over here to the Android Global. Of course, you guys know we were running with Loke City. Big shout out to each and every single one of those guys for absolutely killing and crushing it. You guys can see we took that number 5 spot. So let's go ahead and jump into these leaderboards so you guys can see exactly the top 10. And of course, we know Ghoul took number 1 all the way overall, so big shout out to the homie. We got Bloody Roses, big shout out to those guys, and also DrLucasWho, who ran with them over the last weekend. So make sure and check out his channel down in the description. He's probably gonna do a level up on that plus version of the armor, so if you guys want to see that, make sure and go check him out. Links down in the description. Team Flame On coming at that number 2 spot, a little bit away with 65 billion from those guys. Big shout out to the family. Q Mob with 56 billion. We got Bunny Rabbits, that's kind of a new one, coming at that number 4 spot. And of course, the family, the homies, big shout out to everybody in Loke City, coming in at that number 5 spot. Yet again, you guys know I got to give a huge shout out to the homies, because it's definitely going to be helpful when we come back here on Fire Month with 10,000 gems. I imagine is what we should have over here on the Android Global server. So big shout out to those guys for helping me get some of those better armors. We got Silver Kingdom coming at that number 6 spot. We got Driffets coming at that number 7. Big shout out to the homie Jack. We got the Terrible Bones coming at number 8. Purple Kingdom at number 9, and Blood Roses rounding out the top 10. You think there's something there? We got Bloody Roses on the top, and we got Blood Roses at number 10. And take a look at the top 5 raiders. We got Mine, definitely can't say that one over on YouTube, coming at that number 1 spot with 2.4 billion points. Big shout out to the homies. We got Julie coming in number 2. Zeal absolutely crushing it over in that number 3 spot. We got Furry coming in at that number 4 spot, and Peyton the Drifter, no stranger to the channel, rounding out the top 5. Let's go ahead and take a look at the top 10, because we got a couple of the homies chilling in a couple different spots there. Alrighty gamers, and taking a look at this one, big shout out to the homie Loke City Poppy for coming in at that number 6 spot. Pretty dang close to that number 5. We got Loke City Reaper coming in at that number 7 spot, and Loke City Papito coming in at that number 9 spot. Want to give a huge birthday shout out for everyone that ran over with Asylum. It was a birthday bash, definitely ended phenomenal. Big shout out to all the homies over in Loke City. Definitely always great running with you guys. Definitely a good guild to call home. The chat was always active, even when Android Global and everything like that, and Android European was down. I think we were out of both accounts for probably about 7 days for most of them. I think I was able to get on Android Global probably 2 days after the fact, but I definitely wasn't on with my Google account. Compensation, man, we're going to talk about that this week, ladies and gentlemen, so stay tuned for that video. Make sure to smash that like button if you guys enjoy. If you guys have any questions or suggestions, make sure and put those down in the comment section. And as always, don't forget to subscribe before you go. This is Dr. Redstone signing out. Thanks, YouTube.